Welcome back to Jackson Jet Setting, and this video is going to be all about how to check in for your Royal Caribbean cruise and making sure that you don't miss anything with your very expensive vacation, I'm sure. So this is going to detail all the things after you've done your final payment, making sure that you don't miss any important dates, as well as little tips and tricks throughout the whole process. If you're new to the channel, thanks a lot for watching. I cover all sorts of cruise content here on the channel, so consider subscribing or at least liking this video. And if you're already a subscriber, welcome back. Now let me start with the basics. Royal Caribbean has one of the best app experiences at sea. I think their technology is really good, and I speak from experience because I've sailed on many different cruise lines from the US over the past 3 years. This video is going to be split into two parts. First, your online check-in process before your cruise, and then embarkation day for your cruise. So online check-in starts 45 days before your cruise. And this is going to be separate from any sort of excursion bookings or things like that, beverage packages. That can all be done as soon as you book your cruise. So you can actually download the app, link your reservation, and start booking all that stuff well before your check-in time. When check-in time comes, though, you're going to want to have a few different things available for your check-in process. First, you're going to want to have a few things available from your entire party. First being that security photo. So it's going to be kind of like a passport photo, very rigid. That'll work just fine. As well as any passports or what other travel documents you might be sailing with, like a state ID and birth certificate. I'm not going to get into all the ins and outs of what is actually required to cruise, but just make sure that you read the Royal Caribbean website for all the latest up-to-date information. Now to check in, you can do so on the app or online. I recommend doing so in the app because it makes it very simple. You'll enter all of your personal information, upload your security photo, your passport information, and once that's all done, you'll be able to select a port arrival time. And your port arrival time is going to allow you to get on board the ship as quickly as possible. For me, I like to arrive as early as possible because I want to get to that free lunch and get my vacation started as quickly as possible. But others like to arrive a little bit later in the day when their staterooms are ready. Staterooms are not going to be available until after 1 p.m. on board most Royal Caribbean ships. And so they'll whisk through the process because most of the people like me have already rushed themselves on board. There's less security lines and their stateroom will be ready. So I do want to give kudos to Royal Caribbean here. Their check-in process is probably the best check-in process of any cruise line that I have experienced. Even if you don't go through this online check-in process, you can do so at the port. It's just going to take you a little bit more time. But once you complete the check-in process, you receive a set sail pass that you can add to your wallet on your phone, and that pops up at the port. And you'll scan like a QR code and be able to make purchases as well on board on embarkation day with that QR code before you get your key card, which will be available on your door when it's ready after 1 p.m. Now, I do still like to pack all of my essentials for the embarkation day in my carry-on bag, including any alcoholic beverages. Each adult may bring 1 bottle of wine on board on embarkation day. So the pools will be open, and so you can switch into your swimsuit in your carry-on bag and then switch back out into dry clothes when your stateroom's ready or whenever is most convenient for you. But once you drop off your checked bags with those porters, and don't forget to tip the porters, they work very hard, you're not going to see those bags until later in the day on your first day of your cruise. During this embarkation day, you can actually buy something called the key. And I've done this a few times. The key is basically a VIP experience that will be good for your entire cruise. It also includes internet, which is a nice savings, but it's a little bit extra per person per day. I've seen it as low as $20 a day, but usually hovers around $35 to $40, but it does go on sale, which is nice. But it will provide you some embarkation day line skipping, so you have your own dedicated line. You'll be able to drop off your carry-on bag for delivery to your stateroom once you are on board immediately, which is awesome. And then you'll have a few different perks throughout the cruise, like reserved seating and reserved times on those rock walls and things like that. You also have an embarkation day lunch, which I really like because it's a modified chops menu. You can get that delicious filet mignon immediately, which is really an awesome way to start a vacation if you think about it. But with that set sail pass, you really do whiz through security. They check it quickly before you go through security. Then they'll check your documents one more time. That's super quick, and then you're basically on board. It is a super quick process. I've been from my Uber to on board in less than 15 minutes before. Now, that's not going to be every time, but I have had an amazing experience boarding Royal Caribbean ships, so I do want to give them kudos for this. If you go through this process It's going to be a very, very relaxing time to get on board as soon as possible. And I think they are one of the only cruise companies that understands that the quicker people get on board, the quicker they start spending money. So it's very smart of them to invest all the technology into making this happen for their guests. Now, on embarkation day, on your app, you will have a few things to do for your muster station drill. So it'll sound the emergency horn, you'll watch a short safety video, and then you'll actually have to go visit that muster station once you're on board. Once you do that, all the to-dos are done and you can really start your vacation off right. One thing to remember is certain ships do allow you to book entertainment in advance, and this date kind of varies, but typically it's about 30 days out. I've seen it really change though, and it's kind of luck of the draw. But on those larger ships with Broadway style shows, you can actually reserve your entertainment in advance. Those comedians, all that stuff, you can actually book in the app or in the browser. Sometimes it doesn't show up in the app and it's only available in the browser, so maybe check both places. But it's important to do because I want to make sure that you are able to see some really amazing things on board, like the Aqua Theater or the ice skating show, if that's available on your ship. So that's it. You're ready to cruise Royal Caribbean like a pro. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button. It really helps out the channel, and I will see you on the next cruise video.